Paul Coffey, a member of the NHL Centennial Greatest Team, certainly a distinct honor to be bestowed that by 3.6 million fans. Paul, when you found that out and you think back, yeah, that was truly the greatest team, what stands out about the 84-85 Oilers in your mind?
Well, I personally and the rest of the guys were definitely humbled and honored for sure. I mean, to have that bestowed amongst a group of guys is pretty incredible. And we knew we were a good team. We weren't the predator anymore. We were the hunted. And when you're the hunted, every other team in the league wants to beat you because you were the previous Stanley Cup winner the year before. It makes it even tougher. And we knew it was tougher, but we were still hitting our stride. Wayne was good, but he wasn't great yet. If that makes sense.
Because he was like, wait a second, he was pretty great.
No, because he was always great, but he wanted to be greater. And we all wanted to be better than we were, and that's what made that team special.
Where did the drive come from to try to push yourselves, to elevate yourselves to new plateaus that you guys were able to accomplish?
The same as pretty much what I just talked about. When your best player is your hardest worker and your most unselfish guy and wants to put up numbers and wants to be great, I mean, if you don't fall in line, shame on you. We had that. We had great leadership. I mean, Lee Fogelman had given the captaincy up a couple of years ago. He was a great leader on our team. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we had great players, Hall of Fame players, and the greatest player of all time, but we had a team. We had everybody that roped and pushed and pulled the same way, and that's what made us go.
What's interesting is you bring that up, and you hear the guys from that team talk about, yeah, we were great players, guys broke records, you were part of that, but what mattered in the end was winning that cup. But you do have to look at some of the stuff that you guys were able to accomplish as individuals, because you had a hell of a season. You win your first Norris Trophy. You guys are breaking records every night. Do you ever reflect upon what you were able to do personally that season? And do you ever say, wow, like,
no, because if we were talking, if we didn't win Stanley Cups and we weren't the greatest team of all time, or first of all, win Stanley Cups, we wouldn't have this conversation. So it doesn't matter what you do individually. It's a team and a champion. I mean, there's been many great players on all major sports that don't get the chance to win. And their singular accomplishments are never talked about.
What else is interesting when talking to players from those teams in that Oilers dynasty is it's kind of like a debate to see which team was the best Oilers team. The fans think that 85 team were the best team. You ask a guy like Glenn Anderson and he goes, well, 87, we knew how to win because the lesson was learned from prior mistakes and maybe we were more efficient in the playoffs. Some guys look at the 88 team as well. In your mind, was that the best team, or how good were the 87 Oilers or the 84 Oilers compared to this 85 team?
Definitely wasn't the 88 team.
Well, you weren't on that team,
I wasn't
so there
there.
You go. Yeah, obviously.
No, I'm just kidding, but I always felt the 85 team. No disrespect to every other team, the other 4 Stanley Cup teams on Edmonton. That was my thought, and that argument will go on forever. But proof is in the pudding, and that team to me was special, and that's why we're here today.
Paul, we've done Heritage Classics, multiple Heritage Classics. We've had closing down of the old building. We also had the 84 reunion. This, some say, might be like the cherry on top, the last one. And with the passing of Dave Semanko, who was an integral part of that team, do you guys maybe look at this one and will cherish it a little bit more, perhaps?
Well, it's funny, absolutely, but it's funny, listening to you talk. We all get a little bit emotional talking about Semank, but if Semank was here today and he found out that we got voted the greatest team of all time, he'd say, was there ever a doubt? Right.
Typical of him.
Yeah. Dave was a beautiful man, and we've had a lot of great things happen to us as a group, with the city and the championships and the rinks and the banners and the Hall of Fames and the great friendships. And this could be the last somewhat kick at the cat, other than the ultimate what's going to happen down the road. But we're going to cherish it, and we're really looking forward to taking it back to Edmonton and having a great time.
I know the city looks forward to it as well. It's always a great honor to have you guys in town, and a pleasure chatting with you as always, Paul.
Always. Thank you very much.